to the recap special of Revolt World 2023, Hip Hop Without Limits. We're your hosts, Brii Renee.
I'm Emmanuel Hudson.
And we are so excited to rewind the best moments from our unforgettable 3-day experience. Folks from all over the world headed to ATL to celebrate hip hop culture, from music and fashion to technology and wellness. Now, it's been 50 years since hip hop started in the Bronx, New York. And who would have thought hip hop would take it this far? I mean, to this level of success? Well, Revolt did. And to honor the network's 10th anniversary alongside hip hop's timeless influence over the last 5 decades, we put on a first of its kind event to salute the culture that made us, raised us, and continues to evolve and lead our community. So catch up with us on Revolt World's Top Moments, featuring today's hottest artists, livest podcasts, most powerful execs, and flyest tastemakers.
We would like to welcome y'all to the first ever Revolt World. I am your host, Carlos Miller. How y'all doing? Make some noise. We in here tonight. Oh yeah, we're gonna make sure we keep it real live for y'all. First up, we got the great debate presented by Ally, hosted by the man himself, B-Dot.
Who's your number 10 and why?
It's Drake. From 2009 to 2023, dog ain't take no breaks. Like, we ain't go 6 months without Drake. 12 number one albums, 11 number one singles, 180 million records sold. This run is unprecedented.
Tiara, you're the only one that had Meek Mill on your list at number 9.
Because I'm Philly.
You're from Philly.
I gotta do it. Come on now.
It's the Philly bias.
Yeah. Meek is the reason I got so much of my grit and I can really rap, you know?
Simba,
Yep.
on number 9 on your list, you had Jadakiss.
Can I ask the crowd a question? Outside of Jay-Z, what New York rapper is the best?
Whoa.
You put Fab over Jadakiss?
Spicy.
He could jump on anything from All About the Benjamins to a song like Why to songs with Mariah Carey. I don't know who does it better than Jadakiss outside of Hov.
I said Biggie because, in my era, we came up and Biggie was that was the talk for the ladies. It was the ladies thing. It was design, it was fashion, it was fly, it was bossed up. It was one of those. So I just definitely can't exclude Biggie.
Simba,
Talk to me.
at number 8, you had Rakim.
So instead of it being a one thing like broken glass everywhere, people walking down the street like they just don't care, Rakim did things like I ain't no joke. I used to let the mic whoa. Now I slam it on the ground every time it's broke. So he rhymed 3-bar syllables before anybody was doing it. And because of that, we got likes of Jay-Z, we got likes of Ludacris, we got likes of people like Joe Budden, and we got myself.
You got yourself. All right.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at
Shout out to
Rakim. I think
Rakim.
Rakim belongs.
It's only right Andre's in my top 10. Come on now. He stops the world anytime he has anything to say, on a track. He's everything.
Do you feel like Big Boy doesn't get the credit that Andre?
Yeah, this is my list. Come on, this is my list. So I go with Andre.
I think Cube changed the game with NWA. I listened to Biggie Ready to Die, being from Brooklyn, classic album. I hear the Ice Cube influence in early Big. I know for a fact, if Big was here, he would credit Ice Cube.
And number 7, you have Future.
Name me one rapper you can listen to all day outside of Future.
Trade.
Is that a rhetorical question?
South Pie say I got the yay for the low and I keep birds with me like I'm straight out Holly Grove. My fingers, they itching for the
Why'd you go with MC Light?
MC Light is a legend. She's iconic. She did her thing. She's before our generation. She's one of the ones that paved the way for us to actually be here. So you got to give her flowers,
I'm going to get killed for this one.
I don't think so. You got Eminem.
Yeah.
Okay. Whoa.
Okay, see? Rakim introduced us to multi-syllabic rhymes and was doing 3 words at a time. By the time it gets to evolve to M, I'm rhyming entire sentences with each other. You know what I'm saying?
Anybody can rhyme words. What are you saying?
Oh, man. Can we talk about Nasir Jones?
My man is a lyricist. He's a storyteller. And then he just challenges the way that you think. And he doesn't always follow the trends. He sets the trend, right?
As your top 3, you got Lauryn Hill.
Yeah, the queen.
The album bleeds more R&B than it does rap.
It's not a rap album, right? It's absolutely a hip-hop album.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because even when she's singing, Everything is everything. She's over them Wu-Tang beats. She's over, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
And number 2, I'm gonna start with you. You have Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne.
Yes, Sierra.
Is he in everybody's top 10?
I think he's everyone's
Yeah,
top 10.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, we good.
For sure. Simba, you have Drake at number 2.
Who put more artists on as a big name like him? What big name artists do y'all know besides just
Lil Wayne.
go these songs?
Lil Wayne.
I never seen Wayne just take somebody from the bottom and give them a hit record.
Yeah.
Drake from the bottom.
Drake wasn't at the bottom.
Drake, what you mean?
Drake wasn't at the bottom.
He was nowhere.
Drake was on Degrassi.
Wait, hold on.
Drake was on Degrassi. He wasn't at the bottom.
Okay, but no.
The Carter 3 sells 1 million in 1 week. There's physical when you had to go to stores. Plies dropped that same week. Like, if you came the same day as Wayne, you would get a boost in your sales. You know what I'm saying?
That wasn't my point. I said, name in from the bottom that he gave a verse like Drake did. All I'm saying is what Drake has contributed to hip hop.
Okay.
Simba featuring Drake coming soon.
I need that.
So what are some things that you may have learned from hip hop that you never knew about American history?
You know, I read this book, Empire State of Mind, about Jay-Z, and I'm like, oh, wow. For me, that was the first time it was cool to be an artist, reading that book. You know, his message of, like freedom, economic freedom, freedom of movement, getting a slight understanding of what the plight of, my brothers, and sisters is here, and then seeing how, in spite of all odds, they could still have that economic mobility and shine so bright.
I think that hip hop and what it taught me about history is that we could use it for even things like Black Lives Matter and things like to fight justice and to fight for the people. I think that was more important, for me than anything. I mean, because music and hip hop was a platform that it was the only weapons we had to fight against certain things. That's what Tupac did. That's what EPMD did. That's what, a lot of people did before us. You know what I'm saying? As long as we can make money and use the platform to help our people, I think it's a great thing.
If I should elaborate on family when it comes down to family and music, I have to speak on, I'm doing this to break generational wealth. So I'm really doing this for my family. Coming out of Jamaica, I used to sleep on one bed. I used to be homeless. And my slogan now is from homeless to greatness. So this is really why I'm doing music. And sometimes I get fight and I feel like to stop. But I'm always reminded that I'm getting a fight because, not just because I'm successful, but because I'm also black and successful. So as a black woman coming out of Jamaica, I got to kick down doors and barriers so other girls who look like me can be reminded that they too can do it. And that's just how I feel straight up across the board. Like, I'm doing this to break generational wealth for all of us, you know?
And for me, man, that's powerful, sister. That's powerful, man. And for me, with family, they instill how much the importance of God is, and how important Jesus Christ is to the whole journey, man.
Amen.
So for me, that starts with that, but then also the hard work, the dedication, and also as breaking generational wealth, I'm learning how to break generational curses, and start my own way of moving for my family. So it's all about getting better and doing things and giving all glory to God, man, honestly.
Now, who said R&B is dead? Coming up, Amber Grimes moderates one of the most important conversations in music today with R&B vets and newbies such as Tank, Queen Naja, Money Long, Brandon Payano, and Jeezy. Then, Revolt CEO Detavio Samuels talks with some of the biggest names in black media, laying out the groundwork for black journalism and how to grow the culture. You don't want to miss it.
Revolt World is presented by Walmart and sponsored in part by McDonald's, Ally, Mountain Dew, and Doritos Solid Black.
I need y'all to give a round of applause, a huge round of applause for the CEO of Revolt, Detavio Samuels.
All right, so we're gonna have a quick conversation about the power of black media.
There's no problem with black media if you're paying us at the value of what you're pilfering from us. This isn't about only black people can partake in black media, can participate in black culture. It can be for all. But you need to return the full value to the group that creates it. The problem with black targeted versus black owned is black targeted does not return that money back to black. All of those dollars that go to non-black owned media companies do not come back to our community, do not create black generational wealth, do not create a reality where economic inclusion is a human right. The difference between black owned and black targeted is that the dollar stays with us, comes back to us, gets multiplied by us, and continues to drive generational wealth commensurate to what we contribute to the culture. Everybody can participate in black culture, but you must pay for it at its full value, and you must pay the culture that develops it. We have a saying at Essence that was started by one of our partners that is very simple. The revolution must be financed at full value, no discount. Our role is not just to bring money in via that festival and give it back to the community. What we also do with our presenting sponsors and others is we not only have a sponsorship level with them, but within most of the contracts that we have with a lot of our highest level sponsors, we require that they hire black businesses for how they show up at the festival. Because if all they do is sponsor, but the people that come and do their activation, the talent that they bring in, if all of that is not black owned, then the black dollar stops at the point that it comes to Essence. But when we say, if you're gonna build an activation, you need to use a black agency. If you're gonna create any sort of creative, you need to use a black agency, and we don't tell them which agency to use, we tell them what dollar amount. So if you want to put your name on the highest, biggest festival in the country, then you gotta also commit to a certain amount of money of your activation going to additional black businesses, or you can't have this slot. And so it's bigger than just the moment of the company. We perpetuate that advantage so that then you, ma'am, who makes these super dope outfits, your creative could be what they use. Your activation and creativity on events can come there, and then the black dollar stays with us beyond what the business of Essence gets. That's what economic inclusion looks like.
Before we brought the Jason Lee show to Revolt, and before I had a formal relationship with Revolt, Detavio invited me here last year. I spoke last year, but he walked me around as the CEO of a black-owned business that has their own P&L, their own budget, their own finances, their own things going on, and introduced me to the people at Pepsi and Frito-Lay, and very not requiring anything, not asking for a kickback, not hey, you get something, make sure I get something. And now we're having meetings with Pepsi about partnership and how we invest. And that's the thing that I always try to do when I create a space is make sure that I share it with everybody. Shade Room, Ball Alert. I'm not competing with none of them. Ball Alert doing their thing, Shade Room doing their thing, Hollywood Unlocked is doing their thing. But ultimately, if I'm the only one getting it, I'm just as much a part of the problem as the people that aren't giving it to us that don't look like us. And so I think to much whom is given, much is required, and you've done that for me. So I appreciate
this is a really critical point, y'all, because, and we've all been in this situation whether we've discussed it or not. There is a belief with those organizations that want to be a part of our culture based on what we offer, and they tell us we gotta pick one of us. So if we pick Revolt, we can't do Hollywood Unlocked. If you do Essence, you can't do the one that rhymes with Ebony, right? Like you can't do. There can only be one. That's a lie from the pit of hell, y'all. And that is a way that we watch the capital industrial complex continue to keep us separated by lying to us to tell us there's only enough for one black check. That's part of our role, is to shut down this idea that no organization can support more than one black-owned company. You're not limiting what you're pilfering, so why are you limiting what you're paying? Let me tell you a story about what your dollar does. Essence is currently owned by Rich Lou Dennis and the Dennis family, right? They are a family who bought Essence back from Time Warner so that it could go black into black ownership. Do you know how they were able to do that? Raise your hand if you know the Shea Moisture brand. Your purchase of Shea Moisture products created a humongous body care company that was big enough to be sold to an even bigger general market company, Unilever, that created a return to a black man that turned around and put a black media company back into black ownership. You did that. If you wouldn't have bought Shea Moisture, Rich Lou Dennis wouldn't have had the money to bring Essence back into black. You might not think that your dollar matters. It does, because what we're able to do with the money you spend with black can make black better. Please do not think you don't make an impact.
Y'all give it up for music industry powerhouse and love renaissance fearless leader, music executive, Amber Gray.
the man that created this event got on the internet one day and said, R&B is dead. So I'm gonna ask you guys in one word, what's the state of R&B?
Rich.
Exciting. Promising.
I would say hopeful.
Renaissance. Okay.
I would just love to see more artists of color, darker skin, you know, singers, whatever. Just own your space. Embrace who you are. Be unapologetic. I would love to see that because I love to see people step into their light and their power.
I really feel like male R&B artists, like it's time for them, but they sing it to their homies and not their girls. And I want to see my male R&B homies make songs to their women, like make women act like you care.
Take your shirt off and sing in the rain. Drop down your knees.
You know but just act like you care.
You ain't got no rain. I bet you ain't got no rain.
It's just no love. It's just they just slaughter girls and that's it. Like you know what I'm saying. And I think it needs to be, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So other type of energy, you know.
I grew up on the Ashanti and Ja Rule, J-Lo, and Fat Joe. Like that's what I grew up on in the 2000s, and I think it's really important to keep the nostalgia like going. Just because like we're in a modern day doesn't mean we can't like keep it going. I call it the nostalgia.
When I was with Timbaland, I tried to sing a song about a guy, but it was so fake. I didn't feel it. Like it was not real. So we still have a lot of progress. But I feel like each one has to do it. Like that's why I love Lil Nas X. Like I'm glad Lil Nas X did that for black men, for black boys. You know what I'm saying? And you know, at the end of the day, it's nothing wrong with it. Like if like singing to women, I think a lot of women like women anyway. So I mean, like why not?
I just want to see my favorite artists sing and like leave their heart on the stage. It's literally like paint, a mic, and a spotlight.
Love is coming back. We've had a lot of, you know, dark, aggressive energy, especially what's happening in the world. So yeah, I think people are ready for love and to embrace each other.
From power players to power impact on and off the field, women are running sports. Next up, Jamil Hill taps Sha'Carri for some real talk on the future of women's sports. Then, Tyler Lepley and Joey Badass into the group chat on the Black Girl Stuff pod. The girls are talking, so go grab a snack. You don't want to miss a single second.
Revolt World is presented by Walmart and sponsored in part by Pepsi and State Farm.
Here's some great conversation like the one we're about to have right now with some of the biggest bosses, most talented female athletes and newsmakers in sports as we talk about the future of women's sports. You know, a lot of us on this panel, we're in male-dominated fields, but you're in a male-dominated field. To be the first black woman in a pit crew on NASCAR, how do you go from being a former point guard at Norfolk State? How does that journey happen?
To be honest, it was super random because y'all know the girl did not watch NASCAR growing up at all. A lady that worked in the athletics department told me like, hey, Brianna, you know the NASCAR pit crew's gonna be at our school on Wednesday. I think you should try out. And I looked at her like, okay, like where is this going? I was the only woman in that tryout and I placed in the top 10 in order to come back to train to be a professional.
So Ashley, you are on the media side of things. So how were you able to make these two things coexist? Is becoming a personal brand, but also being a very respected journalist in this field?
You know, my mom specifically instilled in me, you know, the benefits of being a woman, and that is being able to wear so many different hats. And it's almost an injustice to being a woman to put yourself in a box, to put yourself in a lane. You know, it's not women who tell us that we can't do X, Y, and Z. It's men that say, if you want to be a serious journalist, you can't also be a model. If you want to be a serious, you know, athlete, you can't have brand deals. And we don't tell men that. Don't let anybody put you in a box. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't be multiple things. There are no rules, and the people who say that they are don't know what they're doing.
So putting yourself in uncomfortable positions, reaching out to the right people, networking, and getting your name out there. So that's really been a part of my success playbook.
What made you decide to take on this advocacy role, even though you yourself are trying to get your career going in a certain direction?
I'd say that when I was young, I was a little bit uncomfortable in who I was because I was playing a sport where there weren't too many other black girls. I wanted everybody to come as their authentic version of themselves. And I wanted to leave this game better than I found it.
What gave you the courage to have those moments right there in front of the world where you're removing your wig, where you're wearing your hair natural?
I would say, honestly, when it comes to those moments, it's just knowing that at the end of the day, these are my true emotions. No matter what happened, like, I just know that I gotta be whole within myself.
What's some advice that you would give to younger women who want to be in sports and how they can navigate?
Set yourself apart, number one. Number two, build an effective personal brand on LinkedIn. And then lastly, it's not about who you know, it's about who knows you.
Ultimately, it comes down to if you love the sport, it will love you back. And you can come from anywhere in the world and become a household name.
To women wanting to join the sport of NASCAR, I would say to do your research first.
And don't ever allow anybody to tell you that who you are and what you bring to the table is not enough.
Well, that concludes this amazing panel. Please give a round of applause for all these wonderful women.
What do you think the traditional financial breakdown looks like in a modern day relationship?
I feel like no matter what in relationships, there has to be a middle ground that we have to meet somewhere. There has to be literally a balance. You have to create that though.
Every relationship, every dynamic is different. You know what I'm saying? And it's really unique to what the situation is.
The ideal role is for a man to be the provider. Because then she ain't even gonna really treat you like a man. You go half, she gonna treat you half.
I believe in, gender roles, if you will. I don't got no problem, protecting and taking care of my household and you doing what you're supposed to do,
I feel like a lot of men and women too really approach this, 50-50 household not in a growth mindset. And one day you may be on top in terms of being able to cover the bills fully, and the next day you're not. So you need to match with someone that's equally yoked, that knows from day one, if I need to switch out, I'm able to do that without feeling some type of way,
Yeah, I agree. Women bring a healing energy into their homes, and I think that's super important for men to be able to rest in their women, to know that when you come home from work, I'm gonna make sure that I have the house clean, I have the food cooked, I'm taking care of the kids.
I feel like just because a woman is not contributing financially to the relationship does not mean she's not contributing. Period. That woman is still taking care of the kids. She's making that house a home. She's bringing him peace.
Relationships are complicated. And sometimes it's not always 50-50, even if that's what the agreement is. Sometimes it's 60-40. Sometimes it's 80-20. And Michelle talked about that, with Barack. She said there were years where I really had to stay down. And I saw it for our future. I saw it for us together, but doesn't mean that those times when I stayed down, weren't difficult.
Round of applause for all them people making it happen.
Yeah, for Black love. Give it up for Black love.
There's much more in store for our Revolt World Recap Special. The guys of Assets Over Liabilities invite Lauren London to share the importance of cashing in on your talents. Drip Guys, Groovy Lou, and Jim Jones discuss how hip-hop fashion shifts the culture. And Royce the 5'9" talks mental health with Styles P, G Herbo, and 5EO Foreign. You don't want to miss what's coming up next.
Revolt World is presented by Walmart and sponsored in part by McDonald's, Ally, Mountain Dew, and Doritos Solid Black.
Please give a round of applause for Lauren London.
Hey. Okay. Oh, I love y'all too.
Oh, the love is in the building.
The love is in the building. Let's get into it. Your career started on the big screen, and now you're doing things in the business world, right? So how has that transition been for you to be talent as an actress to now becoming an entrepreneur?
Well, I think naturally just, as I've just gotten older and wiser, I really enjoy being behind the scenes much better. It just allows you to have more creative input, at least in my field. I think just being able to produce things and having more access at being a creative director and making clothes and sunglasses and just all those different things, being able to really not hide behind like a character in acting, but being able to like really put my purpose and allow that to align in my creative ventures. So I think that came with just my natural evolution of just being older and being closer to 40, so.
Shout out to the 80s babies. Yes, yes. You brought up the word purpose.
Mm-hmm.
What has become or what has shown itself to you to be your purpose?
See, I think you can fulfill your purpose on really large stages or no stage at all. I feel like I'm doing soul work. And even if, and on any scale, even if it's things people don't see that I do, or if it's things that people see that I do, it's what am I doing for others? I just don't want to like be here for myself, right? I want to leave an imprint. You know, one of my biggest prayers is like, God, allow them to see you. I don't want them to see me. You know, I just want to be the vessel in anything that I do. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's really important for me. Does that make sense?
I like that. I love
that. All right, I'm like, I'm speaking from my heart. I don't know if I'm making any kind of sense. I am? Okay, thanks, y'all. Whew, y'all know this is actually my first public speaking situation.
Clap it up for her. They here with you. We here with you.
Okay, y'all here with me. Amen.
All right. But as you're growing up, as you're setting your career's taking off, again, this is something we see with athletes and we see with entertainers. The survivor's remorse. As you're making it and you're ascending, is there pressure, is there angst to look back and give back to the people who, I guess, maybe have grown up with you, who feel that they've helped you? Is there any have you felt that pressure? Have you had to deal with that?
Yeah. I had a homegirl that tell me, like, you know, like, okay, I hear you got that, but who are you helping? You know? And so that always stuck with me. But I also never wanted to enable anybody, y'all. I did want to like help. So if I could help and it wasn't enabling a bad habit, I'ma for sure help.
Yeah, and help doesn't even have to be a financial thing.
No, it doesn't. I mean, not at all. Like, I used to do music videos, and then I used to, you know, I was also a production assistant before I ever acted. And so when I would see that they needed girls for videos, I would call my homegirls, like, do y'all need a check? Because they're hiring over here. You know what I mean? That's just what I could do with the access that I had at the time. You know what I mean? I think it's very important that you empower and inspire the people closest to you, for sure.
For sure. When you think about the legacy that you're building and leaving for your family, for your followers, your supporters, what do you want that legacy to be?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Maybe like a lighthouse. Like, yeah, I would like my legacy to be one of help and insight and inspiration.
I say this all the time. It feels like our generation wants to fit in more than they want to stand out. And when I was coming up, we definitely wanted to stand out so we could get noticed. I definitely don't want to look like what you had on. Yeah. I definitely don't want what you got on.
You had to be different.
5 rappers got on the same outfit.
Yeah. I never seen so many. Yeah. You had to be different. Now, they put one pair of sneakers out. The whole nation is going to get the same pair of sneakers. I didn't want what my homie had. That's what made a crew.
Right. Like, in some ways, social media has been incredible for so many people. It's, you know, we always talk about how, like, numbers don't lie. So now brands can't deny us. But at the same time, there isn't as much, I feel, personal style, like true personal style. It's so watered down because everybody is exposed to so much. And it's like, instead of like creating your own and creating your uniqueness and what makes you you, it's like, I'm going to just swagger jack. You know, I want to do it just like she did it. I'm going to wear her pants just like that instead of making it your own. So it's like, yeah.
I think with a lot of these rappers wearing the same outfit, it's just because I would say it's more like a flex culture, right? Like, oh, I'm popping because I got this full Louis Vuitton fit on. And it's more about the price tag more than just getting fly, in my opinion.
100%. Fashion costs you money. Getting fly is a feeling.
Yes.
Remember that.
So
Because I still might walk by a store and see some sneakers and be like, ooh, another killer with these.
Now, just knowing I was gonna be on the panel, I was like, yo, I can't wait to see what Jones gonna be rocking.
Everything like that is more about the price tag than getting fly, because a person that gets fly can walk in Walmart and get something and come out, and you're gonna ask them if that was Balenciaga and it was a $5
We
tag.
make the clothing, right? Don't let the clothing make us.
100%.
Do you think it's possible for a young artist to come into the game without, at some point, seeking therapy?
I feel like it gotta be spoken about, and it gotta be like, you gotta be able to like speak on your problems and what you're going through, even as if you a hood, a man or whatever, you're not supposed to really show your feelings. It's okay to just, you know what I'm saying, like something wrong with me, I can't sleep, I'm going through it. You know what I'm saying? People don't be wanting to talk about things like that. But like, it's a lot of people who can't sleep at night. I'm saying,
Absolutely. He hit it right on the head.
Yeah.
To chime in what you said, like real quick, I'm chiming on what he said, because like we stigmatize, because as a black man, every black man can contest to this, like, I need help. Like, we ain't asked nobody for nothing. Like, we just learned, that's generational trauma.
It is.
From our fathers, our grandfathers, like, you don't ask no man for nothing. We look at it like a weakness. Like me coming to you, knowing you would give it to me. Out of the kindness of your heart, we still ain't even gonna come. Why? If we got the help, we got the resources, you can lean on somebody, why not lean on? You feel what I'm saying? We need it.
I feel like mental health is everything, but the culture we live in now, we all app babies, so like everything's happening off an app. So you really gotta have a fucking mentality to really believe in yourself outside of people being jealous, because people gonna come at you online, say stuff that get you to react, and if you don't react, they might complain.
And you put a post up, you say you like green, somebody green. I like red.
Yeah.
You understand? You at the gym, do this better, or like Democrats, Republicans, you like Republicans, Democrats, you tall, short people, you short, like everything is so, and taking so much negative, like you don't know, you ain't thinking about it, but you scrolling through your phone. Yeah. I can't say everybody specifically needs a therapist, but everybody needs therapy of some sort. And like,
now, Styles, I gotta listen. Everybody gets a physical once a year. Why not get a health checkup?
I'm with you. I told you, I need you as a doc. Give me the price.
Say less. We're gonna talk after that.
I'm with the therapy.
I love hip hop. I grew up on hip hop. You feel me? But one thing I really realized about hip hop is that it talks about a lot of struggles. It talks about a lot of issues. It doesn't talk enough about a lot of solutions. It doesn't talk about a lot of coping skills. It doesn't talk about how to overcome these issues. Right. But trust me, there's 100 songs that talk about drugs. There's a lot of songs that talks about drugs and the struggle and the, racism, discrimination. I know it. So it's teaching me life. So I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. But where I encourage hip hop to go to the next level is to show our young people how to overcome this. Go to a professional when you need help. Go use these coping skills. Use stuff like working out, journaling, self-care, meditation. There's a lot of stuff that I wish in the music we could put more of those things, because people need to hear that.
They don't even know it exists.
They don't know it exists.
It does exist.
You want the game on gaming? Coming up, DJ Head sits down with T Grizzly, Lupe Fiasco, Young M.A., and Miss Basketball to talk about the future of the multi-billion-dollar industry. Then Atlanta legends Big Bank, DJ Scream, and Baby J welcome one of the biggest names in West Coast hip-hop, YG, on Big Fact Live for unfiltered conversations you won't hear anywhere else. Stay tuned.
Revolt World is presented by Walmart and sponsored in part by Pepsi and State Farm.
DJ cue the music, everyone clear the air, and let's get started.
So everywhere I go, I kind of just attract people, and I make them believe in me. I make them want to work with me. I make companies see me, letting people know that we deserve to be seen, we deserve to be in those spaces.
A lot of hip hop stuff is not always glorified when they're speaking about a situation that was negative, more so expression. And same thing with gaming, was just a different way of doing it.
I mean, Kick Push is obviously a cultural classic. Like, it's something that, and I used to skateboard in high school, and I was like the only black face. It was me and one other black dude who skateboarded, but we played a lot of Tony Hawk
Pro Skater on the consoles, and it was all rock music. And hip hop didn't start getting introduced into it until Terry Kennedy started to blow up in these different skaters and stuff like that. Did you ever find that in those spaces that you were not ostracized but not included in the same way?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm ostracized in hip hop.
That's another conversation.
I think it's a challenge though. I think hip hop's not there in certain spaces because people don't make the choice to put it there. But if you did it, it would be there.
When you approach video games and creating music like Lupe was talking about, do you create original songs for the game, or do they approach you for songs you already have?
So like 9 times out of 10, I'll be kind of surprised that they even come to me and my team about it. And then it's like now when the song is on there, you start to hear why they, you know what I mean? It's like they have a different ear sometimes for your music.
A lot of us grew up on whether it be Tony Hawk, whether it be Madden, and then hip hop started to really get infused in it. Did you take more interest in it?
No, I never really connected the two. Okay. Because when I play games, it really be like my escape.
I want to know what you was playing growing up.
Ooh, I was playing Duck Hunt. I was playing Duck Hunts. I was playing Tetris, Pac-Man.
I feel like Nicki Minaj being included in Call of Duty is one of them milestones that people are not paying enough attention to.
We have a black woman, a black female entertainer, a rapper that's in the forefront of Call of Duty. Yes, like it's amazing because not only are black people being represented, but women.
But I also want to say we ain't gonna forget about 50 Cent and Bulletproof, man.
Facts.
Come on, man.
Last thing, the future of hip hop and gaming. That's what this panel is about. Where do you see the future of the intersection of hip hop, gaming, either together or separately, Young and May?
I definitely see it, expanding later on in the future because one thing about hip hop finds its place everywhere.
Every artist was probably a gamer before they became an artist. You know what I'm saying? So I think when we approach it, it's like, all right, bet we want to have fun and play the game. But who we are not today, it just put an emphasis on it and bring more of a community to it because all our supporters is coming to support us being gamers at the same time. So I just feel like it can only grow.
I think as we continue to grow in this space, and it's still very new, you'll see more artists, more hip hop artists that are going to start to, have more playlists. There's going to be characters, right? There's going to be creating their own video games. It's going to be really big, and it's just going to continue to grow.
I mean, everybody kind of said what it is to say. I just think like the layers behind that. More interest in the game dev side, on the development side of it. More interest in kind of the mechanics of how these things actually work from a computational standpoint, from a mathematics standpoint. And then the ownership side, right? I think we're at a place now with artificial intelligence and machine learning where you can create your own game right now, right? So a lot more of that kind of piece and part. And, just have more fun, that's all,
Listen, I appreciate y'all for real. I've been looking forward to this for weeks. Shout out to Revolt World. Shout out to Mountain Dew. Y'all make some noise for these panelists up here.
So we're going to chop it up with one of our West Coast partners today. We've been trying to get on the show for some time and have one of them big, fast conversations. Let's get straight to it, man. Y'all make some noise for YG. YG on Big Facts Live. Where you at, YG? And YG, man, you've been at it for a minute. Like, how long have you been rapping and how long have you been getting paid rapping?
I've been rapping since, probably 16, 17. I started getting paid like 18, 19.
Oh, right away then?
I mean...
When you started doing the whole rap thing and, you started your music career, how hard was it for you to transition from the streets to the music?
Like, I still feel like I'm... I still feel like I'm in there. Like, I still feel like, I'm street and music. Like,
like you jump roping.
Now she's talking about like indulging in illegal activity.
Oh, you talking about being a criminal.
Yeah, for being a criminal.
Being a gang banger.
Yeah, former.
Actively.
That came with just like years of like success and just having people around and just going through, situations, I was lucky to, be able to make it, here.
Right.
Without going back to jail, doing no crazy, losing my life, you know what I'm saying?
Who your favorite rapper was growing up and why?
Wayne, Pac, Snoop, Biggie, 50, Emmanuel, Hove.
Who the GOAT?
Who the GOAT? Pac. Thug Life. Yeah. Yeah, I'm saying I just want to have a long, successful, consistent rap career, you know what I'm saying? And with that, being consistent with the music, you feel me, the music opened the doors to everything else. Jeezy had a lot of, you know what I'm saying, impact on my career. Shout out to my Jeezy, and this make some noise with Jeezy one time.
Yeah.
What was that moment when you knew like this different now? This
like Jeezy had leaked the song, told him I wanted to say the song for my album. That put this shit out on me. So when the song came out, I was hot. I'm like, bro, what the like? He like, bro, trust me. And some months later, bro, that I'm like, oh, that was right. And like we didn't even know, like we knew my nigga was like was gonna be big on some like culture street clubs, but we didn't know that was gonna, because it's my nigga. So we like, yeah, nah, they ain't gonna let this one go all the way. But a hit is a hit.
Yeah.
Oh man, you can't do nothing about it. So I had witnessed that. I'm like, oh, I come back, my going crazy. You feel me? The album finna come out. I dropped it with Drake. It was up. I'm like, yeah, it's different. And it all stemmed from me coming to the South. You know? Yeah.
One time for the sound. Make some noise for yourself,
love for the West Coast. Yeah.
Hey, what's some you tell like that you learned just like when you got into the business side of the world that you tell the homies now like, nah, bro, you gotta look at it like this.
Like in this, if you trying to go legit, like it ain't no finesse. You really gotta, like it's real. You gotta,
Square business.
Yeah, like you can't finesse your way into a position without having a skill to play that position. You know what I'm saying?
Would you say like maybe N.W.A. is one of your biggest influences?
You feel? I'm gonna keep you like real. You feel me? I was born in 1990. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
I was a baby. Yeah, so like I ain't gonna sit up here and lie and be like that's my big influence.
Okay.
Like Lil Wayne and like Snoop and Pac and all them was like my influence, but like I definitely like got NWA in my DNA for sure.
What's the first Atlanta like artist that y'all playing in the hood? Like the first Atlanta artist, like
Bone Crusher, T.I. of course, Young Bloods, look like Lil Jon.
Y'all was on some crunk.
Yeah, we was lit. Outkast, of course, on the West Coast. We listen to all y'all. We listening to that off the rip.
When you were starting with your career, you were on the XXL freshman cover. Do you think that the XL freshman cover is a gift or a curse?
It's on you. You gonna live up to the hype or you not? That's on how you like make that play out for yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's like you really him or you not.
Yeah. Here go the spotlight.
Like, or you got that make it in the league, first round draft picks, and it's like, is that a gift or a curse? It's like some of them niggas be weak. Like when it come in, like that trash.
Do you encourage all your homies that want to rap to rap, or do you sometimes tell them?
Hell no. Listen, the rap ain't for everybody. I done seen the rap turn it's crazy. That ain't for everybody, bro. We need more like teachers and coaches. You know what I'm saying? We got enough rappers, I feel like you know what I'm saying? We gotta raise these kids right like that, you know? Go be a dad, a full-time dad.
100.
Mary Kill, Angela Bassett, Penelope Cruz, Maya.
I can't answer these questions, y'all. If you would have caught me some months ago, I would have been like, everything. Come on.
Appreciate you kicking with us. When you got any final words for the people of the ATL and everybody?
Man, 400 in the building, you dig? Hey, new music coming soon, new everything coming soon. Stay tuned, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all for pulling up. I appreciate y'all for having me.
Love.
Yeah.
Y'all give it up for YG. Y'all give it up for YG.
Appreciate y'all.
Now, if you got your mind on your money and your money on your mind, don't miss out on what's coming up next. Ross Mack is breaking down finance for me and you. And do you want live, unfiltered conversations about what's going on with missing black women? Well, Revolt Black News is coming in hot. Stay dialed in.
Revolt World is presented by Walmart and sponsored in part by McDonald's, Ally, Mountain Dew, and Doritos Solid Black.
Black women and girls are disappearing at record numbers. Now, this may sound like it's a story about someone else, but this is really a story about so many of you in this audience because you are at risk. Young Black women are at risk. You fell into sex trafficking when you were just a teenager by someone who was much older than you. How did you meet this man, and how was he able to get you away?
So I was a runaway at a young age, and I was just one of those young girls that just wanted to be free. I came from a great family, and I just wanted to explore what was on the outside world. So it happened here in Atlanta, and I got set up by a friend, actually, because I needed somewhere to stay. She was like, I have a room for you, and you're gonna be a waitress and all this stuff. So I was like, okay, but I ended up being in a house full of women, and I didn't know what was going on. So I'm just thinking, like, what's happening? And I actually probably was the youngest one there. I was around 15 or 16 years old. And at that very moment, he just took my phone, anything that I had in my purse, like, threw it in the water. I didn't know what was going on. I was really confused, and I was just being sold off every night. Like, it doesn't matter how many people it was. So at that point, I thought, like, God forbid I caught AIDS, or like, I just didn't know how I was gonna die. I thought it was. Some of the women I don't even think they were okay with it, but it just became their life. And I just knew I wanted to fight, so I fought my way out of it.
And you're so brave to be reliving this, because I know it's very difficult for you to talk about it.
I want to be able to help other women, that are young, not only just young women, but it's just, just be very careful out there, and just, it's not only just getting kidnapped, it's your friends and the men that you meet and the people that you're surrounding yourself with, because some like really sick people, and you can just get caught up in the wrong way.
I always say that you can take the person off the street, but you can't take the street out of the person. And I don't mean that from like a hustler's mentality. I mean that in that all of the psychological effects that come after that, they last for a lifetime. People often ask us, survivor leaders, they'll say, how did you heal? Or how is it that you're doing this every day? And the truth of the matter is that I feel like the healing journey is going to be lifelong. There's PTSD, there's flashbacks, the way that you look at yourself in the mirror, the things that we were told, especially when you're under pimp control or trafficker control, the things that you had to learn about yourself or teach yourself about yourself in order to endure some of those negative things that Alexis was mentioning, that's not something that most people can fathom.
But when we're talking about almost 100,000 Black women and girls that have gone missing in 1 year alone, where are they? By and large, what is happening to these women, and why is law enforcement and why is the media not taking this more seriously?
The key is reported missing, because some cases are not reported, so we know that the numbers are much higher. And from a law enforcement perspective, sadly, law enforcement don't see us as being worthy. They classify our cases as runaways. Runaway does not meet the criteria for Amber Alert. They make families wait 24 hours before reporting their loved ones missing. And the first 24 to 48 hours are the most critical moments when a person is missing.
How much does class play a role in the response that families are getting?
Class plays a vital role in how the media handles these cases. And what we're trying to do as an organization is to remove the barriers and say that race, class, economic status does not play a role in getting media coverage and law enforcement resources. If the community isn't aware that someone is missing, then they're not looking for them. Media coverage puts pressure on law enforcement to add resources to the case. And sadly, these cases are going under the radar at an alarming rate. I don't know if you all know this, but 40% of the missing population are people of color. And we tend to think that sex trafficking is happening abroad. As the guest said, it's happening in our backyards. It's happening to our boys and girls. And we have to do something about it. We can no longer turn a blind eye to this issue.
Tony Jacobs' 21-year-old daughter, Keisha, was headed to a friend's house in 2016, and Tony has not seen her since.
Yeah, Keisha just had turned 21, August the 6th. Doing what any normal 21-year-old would do. Mom going over with my friends. I'm like, okay, just leave me alone. That's, how the kids are. I was like, just call and let me know that you made it there safe. And she was like, all right. I get the text about 11 something. Mom here, I'm okay. I was like, all right, just be careful. Yes, ma'am. And then she was like, I'll see you tomorrow. And I was like, I love you. She was like, I love you too. That was my last message. Once I called the police, they came out, but he in return called a detective. That was it. They told me somebody would talk to me, but it was like a week later that I even talked to a detective about my daughter's case.
So it took them a week to call you and follow up on that?
Yeah, they was like, well, she's 21, maybe she don't want to be bothered. And I was like, she could have called me and told me that.
Did they say that to you?
Yes.
Why is this her story making you emotional?
I'm the same age as your daughter, so I don't know, and I just know I left home, and I just can imagine my mom sitting here saying the same thing if I didn't come back or if I never made it back.
We need to stop turning our heads and act like it can't happen to me, because it can happen to you. Mm-hmm. In my community alone, I done had people, I'm so glad, Tony, I don't know what you're going through, and I'm just hoping and pray that I don't have to go through it. And then less than a year later, somebody that I know that said that to me was calling me because their child was missing, asking me what they needed to do. I need us as a community to come together and stop turning your head and acting like you don't see something when you do, and just report it, because it could be your child.
Y'all give it up for Ross Mack, you guys.
As we're getting ready to talk about how to break the generational curses, how to move past the generational traumas so we could then in turn get to building generational wealth. And how we do that? Changing our relationship with money. One of the things I had that I ensured that when I had children, I wanted to open up several accounts. Because for me, another thing, right, when we're talking about giving our kids the opportunities we didn't have, give them a different level of freedom. How many of y'all graduated with student loans? I definitely did. You know what I mean? Some of y'all probably like, man, I ain't never paying them, right? They're going to have to come get it in blood. I feel that. But the reality is there's a way that I could tell you right now, you can start ensuring that your kids literally don't have to get student loans. First and foremost, right, by putting money aside every month for them. So my kids got a 529 account and a custodial account. A 529 account is literally, think about it like a retirement account for them, where that money's going to be going in, invested, once again, in the S&P 500. That money's going to be growing tax-free, though. Custodial account, right, is literally an investment account that's managed by you. My daughter just turned 3 yesterday. Shout out, happy birthday, Rossi, right? And my people, we don't give her gifts. She gonna outgrow her toys. She gonna stop playing with them, and she definitely gonna outgrow all the shoes and the clothes, but the money's gonna outgrow her. So what we do is we give my kids investments. So a person that's just starting out investing, you don't know anything much. However, how should you start looking at that company, right? Is it a meme stock that am I looking at this because somebody posted it on IG? Here's the reality. Understand what the business does. Whether this is cryptocurrency, stocks, you got to understand what the business itself does. And the very first stocks I recommend buying are the companies and the services that you use on a day-to-day. So if you got an iPhone, you should own Apple. If your kids, like mine, they on YouTube every day watching Gracie Corner or Miss Rachel, you should own Google, right? Google owns that. And so the first thing I say is understand what the business does and then take a 5-10 year approach, right? It's kind of like dating. You sitting across from homeboy, okay, where you see yourself in 5 years? If fools get the stuttering, okay, this ain't the person for me. But also ask yourself, what's the business going to be in 5 years, right? So should you invest when you're in debt? There's 2 types of debt. There's good debt, there's bad debt. If you have the bad debt, and we're talking credit cards, right now, credit card interest rates are the highest of all time. So if you're sitting here paying 25% interest rates on your credit cards, 20% interest rates, I do not recommend investing, because once again, the safe way I'm telling you how to start is by making 10% annually. So it doesn't make sense to be paying Capital One 22% to then be in turn trying to make 10%. That's robbing Peter to pay Paul. However, if we're talking, oh, I got a crib that's 4%, 3%, nah, that's just leveraging. You're utilizing the bank money to own an asset that in turn you could pass down to your kids. And once again, you're paying 3% versus the trade-off investing long-term, and on average, you're making 10%.
What Eminem say? You gotta lose yourself in the moment you own it. You better never let it go. Finalists with flawless flows and undeniable voices took a chance at their big break in McDonald's Shoot Your Shot competition. Stay locked to see who won. Then sip and laugh with the guys of Drink Champs and their special guests, legends Juvenile and Mannie Fresh.
Revolt World is presented by Walmart and sponsored in part by Pepsi and State Farm.
It's important to shoot my shot because I believe everybody deserves their chance.
You are now in the presence of a...
You ain't never gonna score if you don't shoot your shot.
Just ready, to get my name out there, get my face out there. I'll be able to invest in youth programs for the city of Atlanta. But everybody who doesn't have a chance to have a shot, I'm gonna shoot it. I have an opportunity to represent myself and everything that's bigger than me.
Have faith in your shot.
ATL, show some love for all these people up here real quick. Let's get to the judges. Y'all give it up for the legend himself, Currency, Wes, Lawrence, Chanel Ray, LaRussell. All right, I want to get to the winners. Y'all want to get to the winners? Perception.
The bars was great, and you can rap.
I think you kept the crowd engaged. I was watching, I'm a people watcher, and everybody was into it, so I think the people messed with it.
That was his lyrics without, he didn't rap over his mixtape already. That was right out of his body, so that's it for me,
Ray Sunshine.
My name in the mouth, they be running through the south. Got a city on my back like I'm finna Del Los. And a strong gun in ass like I'm looking for a chair. Respect that some gotta really go out. Yeah, I'm 16 and I'm looking for the green. I'm requesting my power. You ain't even on my team. I be feeling kinda funny when I'm talking about the money. I be coming through. Wow.
Juno Central.
This sound like early retirement, cruising in the Bentley with no ceilings entitlement. Lil Weezy lighter flick, Cartier right on my frame. Think you seen different. My competition quarantine. I gotta keep distance.
That's what you come do every time.
The judges have deliberated. That first place, McDonald's, Shoot Your Shot. Make some noise for Ray Sunshine.
We got Juvenile and Mannie Fresh. Make some noise!
I used to go to New Orleans all the time. Yes, sir. And I used to try to discover the new. And when I came to New Orleans this one time, there was this Puerto Rican woman, she had gold fronts in her mouth.
And she was Boricua for sure? 100%?
Boricuas. And she said, you need to understand what Juvenile and them is doing over there. And I did not understand until I understood. And let me tell you something. Y'all changed the face of hip hop. Yep. Y'all changed the face of rap. Y'all changed the face of everything. So, how does this start? How does this start?
Our process?
Yeah.
So, I think what made them incredible songs was we was always in competition with each other.
With each other?
With each other.
Let me say something. As an outsider looking in, we always thought y'all was in competition with Cash. No limit.
No, we was in competition with each other in the studio. So if Juvie did some and I felt like it beat my fucking beat up or my beat up, the song would sound completely different the next day.
I give a scenario to that, right? We turned in 400 Degrees, right? We went to Nashville.
Amazing album, by the way.
So we in Nashville and we got to turn the album in Monday and it's Saturday. And Mannie Fresh turned on Back That Ass Up, which I recorded like 2 months earlier, right? He turned it on. I'm listening to the song. I'm like, damn, bro, you changed the beat.
Yeah.
Wait, those verses had other beats on them?
It was other verses. His verse was different, but I felt like they was better than my beat. So I changed the beat, and then he wanted.
And then he changed the verse.
And he changed the verse.
So can I say?
That's wild. So history changed right there.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, Juvie. If you ever seen a regular girl, but then back that ass up, come on. This girl becomes different.
Yeah.
She's different?
She becomes. She backed that ass up. And you telling me you made that by mistake?
Kind of what he said.
Yeah.
He'll tell you, man.
But just because we had friendly competition, that always made the song so much better. Like, you know what I'm saying? It would be a moment where you had to go to the corner and be like, man, what the f he doing? Like, he really trying to embarrass me?
But mind you, the friendly competition is within y'all.
Yeah, within us. Yeah. There's a lot that a lot of folks don't know. You know, like, our city, the heritage is so crazy. My dad was a street DJ. My dad knows Juvie as to nut. I mean, he was doing like block parties when my dad was DJing.
Juvie with your dad?
Yeah, working on that, you know, just working on his craft.
How did you come into the lyrical side of it, Juvie? Because you're one of the most lyrical artists, as far as I'm concerned. You're in the top tier lyricists.
Right on.
How did you get there?
I love hip hop. I love hip hop.
But how did it go from bounce to where y'all got?
Well, before it got the bounce, I kind of like used being in the club and doing bounce music as my stepping stone to get to doing what I really want to do.
Everything played in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Right.
East Coast, West Coast, Miami bass, all of that. We played all of that. And we just took bits and pieces from it and made gumbo.
Which is my favorite dish. I was one of them cats.
So Ice Cube or Biggie?
Just to give you an example.
Stop it, bro.
Ice Cube or Biggie?
Come on, you out of control, bro. You just want to perpetuate that.
Listen, I lived across the street. I lived in a project. I lived across the street from the record store. So I got an opportunity to hear everything and see everything. So, you know, when the artists came in town and they came to the hood, I got a chance to see a lot of them. So I grew up just feeling like I liked everybody. I wasn't really stuck on one thing. You know, they used to say Tupac or Biggie. I'm like, why not both? I gotta choose.
Make some noise for that.
Yeah.
Y'all changed the game.
Yeah.
What y'all did to the game, y'all came in, pause.
Yeah.
So,
why did you pause on that one?
No, because I love.
I don't understand the pause. I just want to understand the pause.
I love my brother Cam and his show, so I gotta respect.
You had to pause on that one?
Gotta respect it. Don't
but
worry.
what N.o.r.e. not telling y'all, like when we first kind of got on, he was one of the first brothers that embraced us. He was just like
from New York.
Yeah, from Embrace.
Yeah.
This.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you. Invited me down. Not only invited me down, put me on a song with him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Paid that bag and everything. Took me to the rack, you know what I'm saying? You know, they was calling it Iraq, you know what I'm saying? Took me to the rack and everything. Showed me mad love, man.
Yeah.
Mad love. From day one.
Yeah, from day one, this brother embraced us when the rest of the world was like, I don't know what the they doing. N.o.r.e. is like, I know what the they doing. That's my bro.
Yo, get the up! I didn't want to say it. But I brought cash money to the world.
Hold up, buddy. Not to the world.
Relax.
Go ahead.
You don't want me to not say.
Yeah.
You argue WWF right now.
No, I'm being honest.
Cheers to y'all legacy.
Salute.
To the legends.
Yeah.
Who better than Jeezy to drop gems? Stay tuned for The Black Print, a fireside chat with Revolt CEO Datavio Samuels and the Snowman himself. Then, get your mind right with Shaka Bars, culture, and an important conversation with 19 Keys about the state of the culture.
Revolt World is presented by Walmart and sponsored in part by McDonald's, Ally, Mountain Dew, and Doritos Solid Black.
Are we low level or high level? Are we low level or high level? Let's have a high level conversation then.
How has COINTELPRO, in the context of African indigenous peoples, impacted freedom of speech and oppression.
For those who don't know, COINTELPRO is an operation that the FBI have to basically stop any powerful black messiahs and or groups or organizations from rising to give us freedom, justice, and equality. When we look at over the last 100 years, there was black men and women working side by side to try to get justice within a system that wasn't built to give us justice. So now we at this point in time where we blaming each other for the injustices, that happens from demoralizing and programming the people to be against each other. Because after you knock down a man, you knock down a woman, you knock down a child, and nobody stands.
The black economy in North America is worth $1 trillion, maybe $2 trillion now, right? That is enough money that you guys amongst yourself will be able to trade with yourselves and never have to speak to anybody else, right? That's important. That used to happen. Put your hands up if you know what BRICS is. Some of y'all don't, some of y'all do.
This is Atlanta, they know BRICS.
They know BRICS, oh, okay.
But different kind. We're talking economics now.
All right, so how do you think that BRICS and the black nation of North America can do business together?
I think we have to, find mutual interest. Right? Because we always talk about going to Africa, but we always skip over, like, who are the people in Africa we go actually connect with? They going to know 50 Cent faster than they know who Malcolm X is. Hip hop is a lot of times anti-culture, right? Because it's a lot of death culture.
Say it.
It's about murder, it's about prostitution, it's about sex, it's about violence.
Say it.
Right? When we go over there, they think that's who we are. So first we have to fix the issues of the Black American image and the African image. How many movies has there been about Paris, right? Paris has a brand. Europe has a brand, right? It is connected to a so-called culture. What is the culture? They connect Africans to poverty, right? So I think the first thing is actually building that relationship. We often come in thinking that we about to save everybody. We just need to do trade with each other, right? There's an opportunity, I can help you, let's build.
Everybody stand up. Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. I need some energy from everybody. I want everybody's fists in the air like this, and I want to hear everybody say, I am a revolutionary. I love my brother. I love my sister. Now that's your mantra for the rest of the year and the next year. Give yourselves a round of applause.
I would like to welcome to the stage yo man, my man, Atlanta's finest, Jeezy. Come on out, King.
What up,
good?
though?
What up?
What's happening? That's what I'm talking about. How you doing, brother?
I'm blessed, King. You ready to get into it?
CEO talk, I'm here.
Yeah. Now, King, I want you to take me all the way back to the beginning.
Okay.
What was childhood life like for Jeezy?
I mean, childhood life was, it was, how can I describe it? My mom was from, the hood. My dad was a military guy, and I got to travel the world at a very young age. So I saw Hawaii, Japan at a very young age, and when my parents got divorced, I had to go back to the hood, right? And going back to the hood, it was a change of life for me because my palate was different, as you can imagine. I was eating with chopsticks, at 4 or 5 years old. And when I had to go back to the hood, the day I got to my grandmother's house, I just jumped off the porch and I was like, man, I gotta get back to what I know. And it was crazy because the only thing that I saw that can get me back to that was the streets. And that's the approach I took because the street guys were making the money. Because I seen people that came from nothing, become multi-millionaires. Don't mean they lived a long life, but they achieved the goal. And to me, that was enough. Was any entrepreneurs in the building today? When you're an entrepreneur, you don't have to follow the guidelines. And that's the part that I love. You know what I'm saying? Because it's almost like, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like I threw watermelons when I was young and cut grass. That wasn't gonna give me no millions of dollars. I knew that, right? But I looked at the structure of it, and instead of me just cutting lawns myself, now I got little homies cutting lawns with me. So now I'm the boss and I'm making more money, but now I'm preparing myself to be a CEO one day, right? And this is what I'm working towards, right? But then I'm looking at it like, how do I scale this? Like, how can I scale my life? And the thing that I learned the most is never stop learning. That's the most important thing ever. Is as long, and I'm self-educated. I dropped out of school in the 5th grade, right? In the 5th grade. Got my GED when I was locked up. But the thing that I learned the most is I started getting outside of my comfort zone and having conversations with people that I normally wouldn't have conversations with. And that's when I started to pick up, you know, little pieces of information that was gonna get me out of my situation. And I would advise anybody, anytime you stuck and you can't quite figure it out, just get outside your comfort zone. Just go sit down with somebody in a million years nobody would have ever thought you wouldn't talk to, and just have a conversation. Just ask them some questions, you know what I'm saying, and get some answers.
Yeah, I love that. There's a couple of things that I want to pull out. A, you just dropped an incredible gem about breaking out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
But the other piece that you talked about, which is there's more than one path than just college, right? And what you did to solve for that, you created your own syllabus. You found your own people to talk to.
Right.
You read your own books, right? So you schooled yourself, right?
Yeah, I went to school now, but it was a school of hard.
I'm talking about college.
No, I went to the school of hard knocks is what I'm saying.
Hard knocks, yeah.
I graduated, it's over there by Spelman, but I was, you know what I'm saying? I was on the block with it, but I was close by Spelman. I saw them, and they saw me. but on a real note, it's like, what's really more important than all this, man, than everything, the money, everything, it just never stop learning. You already here, you already on your way. You know what I'm saying? You already on your way. You here because you want to be here. You want to be better. You want to add value to yourself and others. So that's like you're ahead of the game already. You know what Hov say? We can't never fall. Everybody's each other's crutches because you're pouring into people, and that's what I want to leave you with, man. Continue being great. Always pour into people, and I don't give a damn what you going through. I don't give a damn what they talking about. Do not let these folks talk you out of your dreams and your vision, because they damn sure gonna try.
Jeezy King,
my God.
I'm so appreciative of this conversation. I'm appreciative of your, just your pouring out, but your messages about the importance of living a life that is on purpose.
Yes,
the
sir.
importance of living a life that is more than just about you, but it's about somebody else and other people, a life that is about significance. I appreciate you talking about this idea that like you can have ideas, but the first person who got to bet and believe on them is yourself. How can you expect anybody else to bet on you if you're not even betting on yourself?
Right.
And so learn and grow. I love all of that, brother.
You learn to grow. And I like to add on to that too, because if you like me, I'm competitive, right? So if you're trying to beat your competition, take care of yourself, man. Take care of your mental, take care of your health, take care of your star player, take care of you. Because if you want to beat these, all you got to do is live longer than them. I'm telling you what's going to happen. You're going to win.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you please do me a favor and stand to your feet and give a round of applause for my man, Jeezy.
This might be the most raw, entertaining part of the special coming up. First, Jason Lee catches up with one of the most talked about internet personalities, Brittany Renner. Then Caresha kicks it with the one and only Ari Fletcher. Things about to get crazy, y'all. Tap in.
Revolt World is presented by Walmart and sponsored in part by Pepsi and State Farm.
Doritos cares about amplifying the culture that's made the brand so iconic. You can't have that culture without change makers.
Being a change maker means setting your own trends.
It means owning your uniqueness.
Means sharing your chapter in your story.
I am a change maker because I understand that it's not about me, it's about a bigger picture. Representation means everything. I am solid black.
I'm solid black.
I'm solid black.
I need a standing ovation for the Jason Lee Show!
Let's go, y'all!
You just filmed Basketball Wives.
I sure did. And to God be the glory, I'm not a basketball wife.
So I just want to know first, because I know those basketball wives. I know Jackie Christie. I know them. So how was it filming with them, though?
It was quite an experience. And I would say that after 14 long weeks of filming with them, I see where I just don't fit in, you know? It's like, I don't know, it was kind of like they were like a bunch of Regina Georges, and then here I am, Maleficent. I'm gonna blow the doors off this. What are we talking about? Y'all playing around. You guys wanna be Regina George? Baby, I'm the bus driver. Yeah, babe. What we doing? Problematic, chaotic. I'm gonna tell the truth. I try my best to get along. I try my best. That's all I can do.
But reality TV, as you know, is not always real. Like what you see, meaning there be real situations, but you could be friendly with somebody and then the cameras turn on and it turns into a whole thing, right?
Well, I think that's what I started to notice is that like I'm the same no matter what, you know? And when I saw the camera cut on and then it was like, it didn't translate. So I would have a good one-on-one with someone and then the group setting, I have a whole different experience. So for me, it was very peculiar. I like to let the people be the judge of what they see. And I think that for me, my light makes the roaches scatter. So I feel that because how strong and powerful I am, it shines light on a lot of truths that, you know, maybe weren't seen before.
She called them roaches.
I'm talking about in the crevices, making them come out. Because
no, I remember when I was living with my mom and we were real poor and I used to go and pour my cereal and a roach would fall out and I would just be like, damn, this just ruined my day. So basically they ruined your day.
I didn't really grow up with a lot of money. So I was raised by my grandparents primarily and we used to have roaches really bad. So when we turned that light on, there'd be like 8 of them just going everywhere. You have to keep the light on for like 5 minutes and that's kind of what that was. And more so of that. Just letting people see it for what it is.
So you were raised by a white mom? No, you weren't raised by your mom. You had...
Well, till about 9, I was with my mom and then I was with my grandparents.
With your grandmother, yes. And your father was absent.
Yes.
Because you come from a broken home. You come from... Well, we both come from a broken home.
A broken home. Hold on now. Hold on. Because we got to reel it back. Because a broken home would have been coming home to an alcoholic father. That would have been a broken home. My home was not broken. My mom did the best she could with what she had. You know what I'm saying? Whether that was welfare, whether that was working her multiple jobs, she did the best she could with what she had. Now, if my dad was meant to be in my life, he would have been in my life. Universally speaking, if it was meant to be, it would have been.
So is that how you learn how to be able to navigate and survive as a single mother?
Well, let me start off by saying I don't think anyone plans to be a single mom. Okay, if we have a schedule where it's alternating, it's a 2-2-3. I get Monday, Tuesday, he gets Wednesday, Thursday, we alternate Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Am I a single mom then, still? Or is this because I'm single because I don't have a partner? Because his father is very much present and takes care of him.
What's the difference between you and the Kardashians?
Anyone in there want to answer? Anyone in the audience? Right here? Oh.
Trash is, okay, who can top that? Melanin. Because the reality is,
culture vultures. Call it what it is. Like, why do people not have a fucking problem? Kim K can wear fucking braids, but in the workplace you can't wear because it's ghetto. But nobody's mad about that.
Well, Kim Kardashian invented the box braids. Now that
allegedly, you let one of these magazines tell it.
She said that. Y'all didn't see that?
Please.
Y'all didn't see how Khloe Kardashian encouraged you to lose weight with Revenge Body after she went to the doctor? Come on now, stop it.
Out of here. And you know what?
The most disrespected person on earth is who?
Come on.
I always like highlighting what we all know, but people act like they don't know.
You now into reality TV show. You was on Impact Atlanta. How was that? Like opening up to the world, letting them in your personal life. Do you like it?
I do. I like it because I feel like that other people can really see a different side of me. And also to help other people, because things that I do on the show is things that I'm really battling with in real life. And I feel like that other people are going through it. And it was like even a push for me. Like, this is something that I wanted to do, but I always been scared to do it. And it's like when you do TV, I just was talking about this on Twitter. It's literally like pulling your pants down and showing your bare ass to the whole world. and like expecting like, I don't know what they gonna think. It look good bare though, but like.
You got your makeup line that you just came out with. How did that come about? Like, what made you want to get into makeup?
Because I've been doing makeup. Well, I learned how to do my makeup when I was like 18, probably a little bit before that, because I used to work at the club.
Doing what?
I was a bartender and a waitress.
Okay.
I wanted to be a stripper, but I didn't have the balls. But I had learned how to do my makeup because them beats was getting a little expensive. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna learn. So I sit on YouTube and I learned how to do my makeup. And I just always been into like makeup, like looking real good. I always want to look polished. So I'm like, I want to learn how to make myself look really pretty. So I started learning about different products and I just went from there. But I never was like, I want to have a makeup line. I just was always like, I really, really like makeup and it just made sense for me.
So what about Remedy Swim, your bathing suit line?
Cause you know I'm always naked. So it's like, if you don't want to do lingerie, you gotta do swim.
So what can you say you learned about like operating the business?
I'm still learning, and it's real, real difficult. But I do know, I have learned a lot, but every day I literally am learning something new with business. I still don't know everything. I'm still trying to learn.
So let's get into motherhood. How do you balance being a mother with all the things going on in your life, like being on the road, here today, gone tomorrow? Like, how do you balance the two?
First, my mom, she is, baby. I don't know what I'll do without my mama. And letting my team know like that, well, they already know, but you know, like my son is priority. So anything that I gotta do this week, for this month, everything for my son is blocked off. And it's not a question. It's like, damn, you think you could push? No. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to my child, all bets is off. Like, this is his time. I'm always gonna be there. I don't care what it is. I don't care how much money on the table. When it comes to this little boy, I said no, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna be there for my child. And they know that's how I am. So I think that just making sure that everybody around you get a respect for, you know, like she's the mom first, regardless. Like, I'm a mother first. Like, all that business, bad, that is after. Like, mommy is first.
I love that. You are a mother.
I'm a mother.
So let's talk about your little cooking show. How you know how to cook? What made you want to like start your cooking show?
It was really just random. Like, it wasn't, I started doing a cooking show for fun. It wasn't even about like, oh, I want to do this and take it serious. Like, this was never like no dream like a cooking. I just like to cook. It's therapeutic to me. So, and then once I got that first YouTube check, I was like, oh, this shit ain't fun. This shit ain't no game no more. Like, we dead serious. I'm looking up the ingredients. I'm getting it right. Like, this is not, that YouTube money is different. I said, oh yeah, baby, I'm taking this serious. I want to get me some chef outfits and shit. I said, baby, I'm finna let them know it's time.
So what you would say is your favorite meal to cook?
Spaghetti. I love spaghetti.
I already know, Cal. I can make spaghetti now.
I swear to God, spaghetti. It's like, I love pasta. So I'm really like, I don't know, it's just something about spaghetti.
So you know how to cook Italian food?
A little bit.
What type of spaghetti? Like, I'm saying, you know, you got like white spaghetti, red spaghetti.
Red spaghetti? What's white spaghetti, Caresha? You been on TikTok. That's that TikTok spaghetti. You talking about some white spaghetti. What kind of spaghetti I might be making?
You don't posting that women cook spaghetti for you. Huh? You know that. That's the thing.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you a funny story. When I first met Mario, right? He like, yeah, I want you to cook me some food. Oh, he finna be mad, y'all. I got a little secret. I'm the first time, you know, it's my first time, so I'm like, damn, what if I mess it up or he don't like it? Girl, I called my chef over there. I said, I need you to make me some real good pasta.
Ooh, I be doing that.
For real?
Yeah.
She texts me, I drop it off at the studio, like, yeah, I just made y'all something, you and the guys, you know? Like, and he called me like, yeah, the baby ain't here saying this good as hell. I'm like, that's nothing. Like,
do you want to get married?
I don't really want to get married.
Why not?
I almost been in my relationship for 5 years. So it's still, I know that he still got trauma and he's still battling with stuff that he don't even want to talk to me about. And I know that because I'm still dealing with stuff that I'm not ready to talk to him about. And I feel like I know him in and out. which I do, but it's still things that it takes time, and a relationship is a process. And I think that once you get to the space of like, we are just each other's equal, like we are whole, you know, like it's nothing else. I've expressed everything to you. I've gave you every single part of me. Like once you get to that space, I feel like that's when marriage is important, you know? Like, and I'm young, I'm 28. Like, I don't want to put I don't want to force him to feel like that, oh, you gotta marry me or I'm gonna leave you. You know, like we still young, we still figuring out life, we still traveling, we still working, we doing a lot. We just now really living with each other for real again, because I kicked him out the first time. But, you know, I just think that marriage for me right now is not important. I'm not gonna say I don't ever want to get married, because my mindset has changed. I used to always say like, no, I don't want to get married. I'm not interested in marriage. But I think that now, later on, like, you know, it could be something that I would want to think about and do, but it's just not what I see for like now.
Yeah, it's a big responsibility. And
you want to get married?
No, most married men are tricks.
They are.
Yeah, they be tricking. I be like, I feel bad for your wife.
Oh,
or you probably need like a double shot of something.
Caresha, oh my God.
Caresha,
it's
please.
Time, y'all. It's time.
Bartender.
Time to go. It's time to go.
Now, how dope was that?
It was a lot.
I had a blast recapping the top moments from REVOLT World 2023, Hip Hop Without Limits. Did you catch all those gems them folks was dropping?
I mean, it was so many, but I got them.
Listen, I was actually there, and I still picked up on some new things during the recap special.
Same.
You had Jamil Hill giving us game on women's sports, V Groovy Lou and Jim Jones making sure the drip was on point. Okay. History and all.
Oh.
And then Caresha.
You can't forget Caresha Please. I mean, she's so funny.
Listen, this is the first REVOLT World, and we want to know what made you laugh and what you learned and more. Tell us more of your favorite moments from REVOLT World using hashtag REVOLT World. As the culture grows, so will we as a community, and I hope this experience reminds you just how important hip hop is and why we need to continue to pour into it, love it, and own it. I mean, it is ours.
It's ours, right?
Salute to everyone out there watching. Stay fly and keep showing love to one another. I'm Emmanuel Hudson.
I'm Brii Renee.
Peace.